In our previous video, we did matter, and we gave the meaning of matter. We said matter is anything that has mass and can occupy space. Then we said that we gave the natures of matter, that's atom, molecules, and then ion. Then we said that the states of matter are solid, liquid, gas. So now we are on the characteristics of solid, which will be learned in this video. So one of the characteristics of solid is a solid cannot what? Flow. A solid has what? Definite shape. A solid has definite volume, and they can only vibrate about their position. So let's look at the diagram here. Arrangement of particles in a solid. So this is how solids are arranged. They have been what? Packed. Yes. A strong force holds the particles closely together. So that's another characteristic. And they can the particles that make up a solid are very closely packed, giving rise to its compact nature. So let's look at the diagram here. See that the particles in solid, they are what? They are joined, or they are compacted. Okay, so the reason why solids have a fixed shape. Solids have a fixed shape because a strong force of attraction exists between the particles of a solid, and this holds up the particles closely to each other. So because of the strong force, the particles hold up each other. That's why we said solid have what? Fixed shape. Okay, so let's go to characteristics of a liquid. So we say one, a liquid can flow. A liquid has no definite shape. It has a definite volume, and a liquid has a surface. So let's look at the diagram, the arrangement of particles in a liquid. So the force holding the particles together is very weak, and then the particles can move about freely in any direction. So, and then the molecules of a particles of a gas are widely separated from each other, or the particles are far apart. So let's look. You see, the particles are far apart. They are not joined or compacted as those are in solid. Okay. So the reason why liquid have no fixed shape. Liquid have no fixed shape because the force of attraction between the particles of liquids is not as great as that in solids. So therefore the particle can slip past one another. So that's why liquid have no fixed shape. Okay, so characteristics of a gas. A gas can flow. A gas has no definite shape or volume. And then the force holding the particles together is very weak as compared to the force holding the particles together in liquid. A gas has no surface. So let's look at this. The arrangement of gas. You see that because of the particles, the molecules or particles of a gas are widely separated from each other. So the particles are far apart than those in the in liquid. So we say that they are far apart. Okay, so the reason why gases have no fixed volume. Gases have no fixed volume because of the force of attraction between the particles of gases is very weak and negligible. Hence, the particles of a gas are said to be in a constant random motion. So we can draw differences between solids and gas, right? Okay, let's draw differences between solids and gas. Okay, so the differences are: solid have fixed shape, gas have no fixed shape. And then solid have fixed volume. Gas have no fixed volume. Solid cannot be easily compressed, but gas can be easily compressed. And then solid, the strong force of attraction exists between solid particles. And then negligible force of attraction exists between gas particles. So these are the differences in solid and gas. So let's go to the similarities between solids and gases. So if you look at the diagram when we were stating the characteristics, see that they are all made up of what? Particles. Solid and gas, they are all made up of particles. Number 2, they have volume. Yes, they all have what? Volume. So these are the two similarities between them. They have volume and they are all made up of what? Particles. So now let's go to differences between liquids and gases. Okay, the differences between liquid and gas. Spaces between particles are close. That's for a liquid. Spaces between particles are wide for gas. Have fixed volume. Have no fixed volume. Cannot be easily compressed. Can be easily compressed. Weak force of attraction exists between solid particles. A negligible force of attraction exists between particles. Okay, so now let's go to the similarities between liquids and gas. They are made up of what? Atoms or molecules. They are made up of atoms or molecules. 2. Particles in liquids and gases move about freely. Particles in liquids and gases move about freely. And 3. They have no fixed volume. They have no fixed volume. They have no fixed what? Volume. Okay, so let's go to the differences between solids and liquids. So let's look at the differences. Solid. Spaces between particles are very close. Spaces between particles are close. Have fixed shape. Have no fixed shape. Have no fixed shape. Cannot be easily compressed. Can be easily compressed. Strong force of attraction exists between molecules. Weak force of attraction exists between molecules. So let's bring out the similarities between solid and liquid. They all have fixed volume. They cannot be easily compressed. They are all made of particles. And then forces of attraction exist between particles. Forces of attraction exist between particles. So property common to all states of matter. 1. They have mass or weight. 2. They all occupy space or they have what? Volume. Okay, so now let's come to change of states of matter. So all matter can be classified as either solid or liquid or gas. For example, concrete and ice are solids, petrol and water are liquids, and air and vapor are gases. Solid, liquid, and gases are therefore the three main states of matter. A substance can be made to change its state to another by giving heat to it, or change its state to another by giving heat to taking heat away from it. So this means that substances can change their state at different temperatures. So the different temperatures are the one is maybe the change of state of matter. One is what? Method. One is melting, evaporation, freezing, condensing or cooling, sublimation, and solidification. So let's take them one by one and then define what are they. So melting. Melting is the process by which a solid is changed into a liquid by application of what? Heat. For example, when ice block, which is solid, is heated gently, it turns into water, which becomes what? Liquid. Also, when a small piece of candle is heated, it turns into a liquid. This means that in this process of change of state, there is gain or loss of what? heat. So the temperature at which a solid melts, or the temperature at which both the solid and the liquid states of a substance coexist, is called the melting point. For example, the melting point of ice is 0 degrees. That's at the temperature of 0 degrees Celsius, ice begins to change into what? Water. So evaporation and boiling. Evaporation is the change of a substance from liquid state to vapor, that is gaseous. So the change of what? Substance from liquid state to vapor state at a temperature below the boiling point of the liquid. When a liquid is heated, the particles move at random, hitting each other and the walls of the container more and more quickly. Some particles near the surface of the liquid gain enough energy to escape from the liquid surface into air. When this happens, the liquid is said to be evaporating to form vapor. So therefore, the process by which liquid particles on the surface of the liquid change into vapor when heated is called evaporation. So let's at this as the temperature rises, more and more particles escape from the liquid. Eventually, bubbles of gas start to form inside the liquid. At this stage, the temperature remains constant and the liquid is said to be what? To be boiling. The temperature at which this occurs within the liquid is called the boiling point. So the temperature at which both the liquid and gaseous states of a substance coexist is called boiling point. For example, the conversion of water into steam. When we say steam, we are talking about the vapor. Is by boiling at a constant of at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. Therefore, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So some liquids have low boiling point and hence change from liquid to vapor quite easily at low temperatures. Such liquids are called volatile liquids. Examples of volatile liquids are petrol, methylated spirits, and ether. So let's bring out the differences between boiling and what? Evaporation. Boiling takes place throughout a liquid, but evaporation takes place only at the surface of a liquid. And then boiling takes place only at a particular temperature called boiling point, and evaporation takes place at any temperature. Number 3, temperature does not change during boiling, but in evaporation, temperature may change during what? Evaporation. So it is affected, boiling is affected by pressure, but it is not affected by directly, evaporation is not affected directly by pressure. It is affected by wind and what? And humidity. So the similarities between boiling and evaporation. There is absorption of what? Heat energy in both boiling and evaporation. Both involves change of state of matter, and then both are reversible reactions. Freezing or solidification. This is the process by which a liquid is cooled excessively to convert it into a solid. It is also known as solidification. An example is the conversion of water into what? Ice. Okay. So we are on number 3. When a liquid is cooled, the particles move around each other more and more slowly. As further cooling occurs, the particles stop moving and vibrate only about a fixed point. When this happens, the liquid is said to have frozen to form solid. The temperature required to change a substance from the liquid state to the solid state, or the temperature at which the liquid state and the solid state of a substance coexist, is called freezing point. So for example, the freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. That is, at the temperature of 0 degrees Celsius, water begins to what? Change into what? Ice. So note that in freezing, heat energy is given out or removed from the substance. So condensation or cooling. Condensation is the process by which a gas is changed into a liquid by loss of heat. When a gas is cooled, the particles move around more slowly. As the temperature falls, the particles move more and more slowly. Eventually, the particles do not have enough energy to bounce off each other as they collide. The particles cling together as a liquid, and condensation is said to have occurred. An example is the conversion of steam into water, vapor into water. So sublimation. Number 5. Sublimation is the process by which a substance changes from the solid state directly to the gaseous state without passing through the liquid state. An example is the conversion of solid iodine into gaseous iodine. Examples of substances that sublime are naphthalene or camphor, iodine crystals, ammonium chloride, and dry ice, that is solid carbon dioxide. So in sublimation, there is absorption of heat energy. Okay, so let's go to the solidification. This is the process by which a liquid or gas or gaseous form of a substance is changed into solid without passing through the liquid state. So solidification is the reverse of sublimation. Okay.